Hey everybody, welcome back once again to another episode of Vault Hunters. I'm here in my Botania room, ready to continue the process. If you're just joining me for the first time, in the last episode I unlocked Botania, and I went over some of the very basics about how to get started. Petal generation and growing flowers and things like that, and even the very basics of mana generation. Now my goal in all of this is for all of the curios that you can wear that help you out in the vaults. Things like Ring of Magnetization, the Benevolent Goddess Charm, and things like that. And right now, my goal is to make it through the progression far enough in order to make those things. In between episodes, I've done a lot more. So let's take a look at the progression that I've had so far. In between episodes, I've been a little busy in here. I've made a lot more mana flames and been feeding them quite a bit. This mana pool is now about half full, and that's taken pretty much a full stack of coal blocks to get here. Now I've also been making runes, and this setup took me quite a long time to figure out. I had to go watch another video. Just by going through the Lexica Britannica wasn't enough for me. I guess I'm too technically minded or whatever. This is too magic-like. I don't know. It confused me. The thing is, I needed another mana spreader next to the mana pool, and this wasn't clear. But with the mana spreader pointed at the mana altar, you can go ahead and make runes, and this kind of crafting is really kind of strange. Botania adds a whole bunch of strange crafting types. So in a nutshell, to make a rune, you take the ingredients and you put them into the table and they start floating around, which is kind of an interesting graphic, an interesting approach, It's pretty neat. And then the mana spreader starts firing mana at it. And as you point at the runic altar, you can see over on the right, there's a little gauge that gets filled up. Initially, that part had me confused, and the red X had me confused as well. Once we get to this point, I again was confused, but if you look closely at the thing, it looks like there's a rock and the wand. So I was able to intuit enough from that, so you hit it with the mana rock, you hit it with the living rock, and then you hit it with the wand, and out pops your rune. So I've gone ahead and made several runes. There's runes for each element, and then runes for some of the seasons, and then there's more runes beyond that. I haven't got that far. But these are the things that most of the curios look like they want. There are also a number of ingredients that you get just by throwing them into the mana pool. You can see here, it's got the little iron symbol with a check mark that goes to a little blue iron symbol. You just throw it in there, and it all turns into mana steel. It's just regular iron getting turned into mana steel. And there's a number of these. You got mana string, mana powder, mana pearls, and I think a few more. So it's just a whole bunch of kind of mundane crafting that you need to do, but it does use up some of your mana out of the mana pool. Yeah, that little bit used up a good bit out of my mana pool. So got to keep feeding the old burners. I also installed a grid down here and moved the elevator over here so I have elevator access as well. The grid looks very out of place, but considering all the ingredients that I need to get, I am willing to make that sacrifice. And back with even more progress and updates. So yeah, I've got just a few more endoflames, 32 as a matter of fact, and I'm using one of the open crates. It's basically like a create chute, so I can put in half a stack of coal blocks here, and it will drop it out into the right place so that all of these endoflames can be fed by the coal that's being fed into it. And poof! Now we're getting funneled mana into the mana pools. Yes, pools. I now have 4 of them, and 2 of these spreaders firing into the splitter. I don't really know that this is any more efficient, but it looks a little cooler too. The mana splitter just basically splits all the incoming mana into the mana pools. Got the runic altar here, and I've been a little busy making a whole bunch of runes. But what I need for the next step is TerraSteel. That brings us now to the TerraSteel amalgamation plate. Yeah, it looks like a giant present, honestly, and the amalgamation plate is the bow on the present, if you will. So the rest of this is just lapis lazuli and living stone around it. But this multi-block structure is what's necessary in order to make TerraSteel. And I need TerraSteel for some of the curios that I'm making, but I also need it for the next step. Making TerraSteel is a very expensive process. I mean, it takes a mana of diamond, which is a vault diamond dipped in mana, mana steel, a vaulterite ingot, which is 4 pieces of scrap and some netherite, another vault diamond, real one this time, vault essence, and a pearl. And it uses a lot of mana to do that. But these are very expensive ingredients for just 1 ingot of terrasteel. And you can see the impact that it's having on this pool of mana. It's running out really fast. It'll use about half this pool of mana. But the result is worth it. Not only is terrasteel needed for some of the curios that I'm trying to create, it's also used in the Terra Shatterer. And that is super expensive, requiring some 20 ingots of terrasteel in order to make the Terra Shatterer. Now, ultimately, I do want to make the Terra Shatterer because it is the best tool for mining out a mine room or a dig site. But that is still a long way off. I'm going to focus first on the curios and move forward with that. In addition to all of that, terrasteel is also needed for the Elven Gateway, which is the next thing that I need to make in order to continue the progression. You need a full ingot of terrasteel in order to make all of the stuff that is required here. And it looks like I've got even more mana to try to fill up. But once this portal gets lit, then it becomes a trading post, if you will. You throw items into it, and you get different items back out. It's not a portal that goes to the nether or anything like that. But it looks like I need to chop in some more coal, get these endo flames going again, and funnel some mana into these 2 pools somehow. Yeah, it's a really long process. I don't think there's really much to be said about each step. There are much better videos on the tutorials of how to use Botania and all of those details, but I'm just kind of trying to race through it and get going into something else. But while I do generally like to be a teacher and show lots of cool things, I think this progression and this setup is very standard, and you'll see it in a lot of other videos out there. So I'm kind of glossing over it. I hope that's okay. I've tried a couple different ways to fill up these pools, but this just seems to be the best. Throw it in a tablet, bring the tablet over to the pool. Now I've got 2 completely full pools ready to try to open the portal. They say it takes a lot of mana, and apparently it takes some mana in order to keep it going too, so I don't really know. Just gotta try it, I suppose. Oh, and there we go. There we go. You know what? It certainly didn't use an entire pool's worth. But we got the portal open. It looks fun. Look, I wish we could go through it. I mean, it doesn't really take you anywhere. You don't even get the distortion effect like you would with any other portals. But there we go. Now we can start throwing some things in and doing a little trading. Now it kind of seems like everything uses a little different mechanics. Sometimes you use a right click to put it on, like these 2 things. But in this case, you throw it in. So you throw in the piece of wood and the beniatite, and out pops a piece of dream wood, which is the only way that you can get it is through this kind of trading. Now, this is actually not useful for many of the trinkets that I'm trying to create right now, but it will be useful as we continue to move forward. Now, in spending all my time down here, I have discovered that there is a farm that can be done with these pure lilies. By putting ice down, the lilies will turn them into first packed ice and then blue ice, which is like an 81 times increase. So as I've been down here building mana by feeding the exoflames, I've also been building up my supply of blue ice. Now, it wasn't all Botania work going on in between episodes. No, I did a little bit upstairs too and created another Eternal. I can only summon 1 Eternal, but for every Eternal that you get, you can raise them up to a higher level, and that gives you more points and stuff to spend. So, old CPK here was not really standing up to the vaults very well, and I felt like he needed another level. But looking at Fundy here and the choices that I get, this slowness 3 sounds like it's pretty amazing. Nice speed too, good amount of health. All in all, really good rolls here on Funday. And I brought him up a couple levels, so I've got a couple of these to do. But slowness, if this is what I see Iskal doing, I think slowness is really good. Wow, that was really terrible. The damage of 1.2, I got a full point on it, but look at the CPK over here. He's at 11.2. I suppose I need to give him a weapon, and that'll make a big difference. So let me do that, and let's see what the damage number is afterward. Oh yeah, that's much better. I gave him a nice axe that was naturally 12 with sharpness 5 on it. Takes it way up. So this is really good. Fundy got some really good rolls here. Um, I think I think I'm going to add health to this one. Yeah. Oh wow, that was a nice bump in health too. Now CPK over here. I did speed last time. Um, I don't think it's actually helping out that much. I can definitely give him a better axe, and I think I'm going to give him health right here too. God, that was a terrible roll. I wish I could just like always say to use Fundy, but oh well, it's random. So now that we're all caught up with the events that's transpired in the meantime, let's go take a look at what I have been able to accomplish. I've been able to make most of the curios that I actually care about. Ring of Magnetization, a Ring of Chore Data, the Sojourner's Sash, a Cirrus Amulet, the Benevolent Goddess Charm, and I thought the Cloak of Invisibility sounded pretty fun too. So let's grab all these things and go for a little demonstration. Well, I think the Invisibility Cloak speaks for itself. Yep, all you see is my hat, which is the only piece of armor that I'm wearing. This acts just like an invisibility potion, which might be helpful in the vaults, but you're running around in the vaults with no armor, so probably not really useful, but fun nonetheless. One that's more useful, though, is the Cirrus Amulet, which you can see in the middle of my chest. It's really neat how you can actually see that you're wearing these things. The Cirrus Amulet is pretty neat because it allows you to double jump, like you might see in an old arcade game. So 1, 2, while I'm in the middle of the air. 1, 2. Jumping straight up may not seem very useful. The double jump ability is really much more important when you're running along, and you can do a big old jump, crossing a big old area, maybe even all the way across some of those big lake rooms in the vaults. It also pairs really well with the Sojourner's Sash, which is the bluish thing around my waist. It does actually several things. First off, it increases your speed, which is a little hard to see as you're running along, but it does. But it also increases your jump height. See, that's just a single jump, and I'm basically jumping up 2 blocks in height. So in conjunction with the Cirrus Amulet, with the double jump capability, you can end up going quite far. And lastly, the Sojourner's Sash gives you the same step ability that you have here as a talent, which means now that I have the Sojourner's Sash, I can actually take a Choice Flask and get 5 skill points back. That's a win-win all around, I say. Now, it doesn't look like you can actually see the rings that I'm wearing, but I'm currently wearing the Ring of Chordata. And this gives you basically a conduit power. Actually, it gives you conduit and Dolphin's Grace while you're underwater. So all of those aquarium rooms that I love to go into, well, now I don't have to worry about finding air bubbles to actually be able to breathe and not take damage. Essentially, though, now that I have the conduit power, I shouldn't need respiration or aqua affinity, and it gives you this night vision type of effect while you're underwater, and the Dolphin's Grace will certainly help moving around in the water too. Now, the Ring of Magnetization is pretty obvious. It sucks all kinds of stuff to you, just like a vault magnet would. Well, maybe not just like a vault magnet, because it's going to be a little slower, and the radius isn't as big, but it's a very good substitute for the vault magnet if you want it to be. It can also be a good addition to the vault magnet, and I've noticed that if you use a vault magnet and a ring at the same time, well, the durability of the vault magnet gets reduced quite a bit because the ring takes up some of the load of pulling in the items. There is a version of the ring that is a greater magnetization that uses an omega magnet, but my experimenting really says that this doesn't behave all that much different. It just has a bigger range for when it pulls things into you, and in the vault, that may not be such a good thing. To demonstrate the last charm, the Benevolent Goddess Charm, I'm going to need a little help. So here we see our nemesis, creepers. The Benevolent Goddess Charm makes it so that when a creeper blows up, it doesn't drop any blocks. It doesn't damage the area around it. Very good for protecting your builds for those people that don't like to light them up very well, and also very good for the vaults in keeping junk out of your inventory. Yeah, I like that a lot. So like I said, now that I have the Sojourner's Sash, I can use a Flask of Regret to actually get rid of the step. Well, except I don't actually have one for that particular talent. There is a recipe to get that particular flask, but look at that. That's going to take 16 echoes to get there. 16 echoes to get back my 5 skill points? I don't think that's a very good trade, honestly. But there is this other recipe that will give you a random Flask of Regret. This is a lot more obtainable, so I think I'm going to try to make a few of these and hope to get the right one. And while I'm here, I do want to make a change to my setup as well. The dash ability. Previously, I'd taken the recharge specialty for the dash ability, and it really just adds a lot of delay to the recharge of this thing. For the time being, I've got a nice vault sword that gives me some leech, and it's doing a really good job of keeping me alive. So I'm also going to regret that recharge specialization. Then I can try to use dash around in the vaults a little more frequently and move around just a little bit faster. I kind of forget that it's there sometimes because it takes so long to recharge. Yummy. All right, time to see if we can get a random flask for step. Not that one. Dash? No, not that one. Resistance? Oh, no, not that one. Unbreakable? Well fit. Ghost walk. Dash. No. 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 Step! Yeah, finally. It took me 10 tries. But I think it's worth it to get these 5 skill points back. And there we go, up to 9 skill points now. And so what do I want to do with the 5 skill points that I just got back? I think I want to go for Artisan. I think Artisan is going to help me out a whole lot as I get more advanced and try to create and craft more gear. Plus, I also want to start making fabrication crystals and things like that. The Treasure Hunter is also really nice, and as you can see, you can't have both. This basically gives you more luck and more loot in every vault, which I certainly would like more loot. No, I think Artisan is the better choice, and I've heard from many people that Artisan is like the meta and the only way that you should be going, partly because it gives you the ability to get better rolls when you roll gear that you've created. But this piece right here saying having at least 1 level in Artisan allows you to make fabrication jewels is also really important and easily overlooked. Fabrication gems essentially let you pull enchantments off of vault gear and put it onto other vault gear. With a random chance of failure, of course. And this allows you to take some of the good things that you get on otherwise bad equipment and be able to save it and make even better equipment. And that is, I think, the real power of the Artisan talent. I also am going to be getting skill points a lot more frequently as I do have the Vault XP level increased. But for now, I'm definitely in for Artisan. And while I'm not going to focus on it right now, I definitely think it's the best choice for long term, and I want to get into fabrications again, as I said before. And now I think it's time to go run a vault and see how we do with all this brand new gear. You know what? I'm actually a little bit nervous about running this vault. I haven't run a vault in like 2 weeks, and I know I'm going to be out of practice. But I've got all my trinkets loaded up, and it's time to go give it a shot. As always, let's hope it's a good vault. Plentiful, but trapped. Well, that's a pretty good start. Lots of mobs. Oh, look at that. That's a big jump. I went in village room. This is a rare structure, but I've never really had anything good come out of this. So, oh, hey, just fell straight down into the vault. That's weird. Oh, it's the dolphin's grace that made me move so fast in the water. That's actually not very useful, honestly. It is kind of hard to get used to all this extra jump and stuff, Okay, Plentiful, come through for me in here. Oof. I do not like the dolphin's grace here. Wow. It's making things hard. Yay, just jumped right across. Why do they all have fire? Ah, everybody's got fire. Okay, this ring of core data has got to go. I do not like it. The dolphin's grace just is not useful. Oh yeah. I definitely need to refill some of my ores, so this is good. Oh, nice, nice. That was the Benevolent Goddess Charm helping me out. Even works on traps. That's amazing. Hey, my first obelisk. Nice. Moving on. Ooh. Oh, another obelisk. There's one. That's probably the best so far, with 10 minutes to spare. Well, that was easy. Well, it definitely takes some getting used to. The extra jump boost and that swimming. Oh, that was not what I wanted. No, I learned a bad lesson there. But I made it and got it done. And a plentiful with a few extra vault doors is always nice. 2 relics though. That is really nice. So let me get the couple relics going and see what we get. T-Wolf's leggings and T-Wolf's boots. That's a really nice thing because I've only got one of the T-Wolf sets. So not a set, but some good progress in this other set, definitely. Oh, and by the way, I redid this room to make room for 6 more Omega statues on this side, just like this side. So there we go. But I've had to move all my gifter statues down the way. So instead, I've made this room for all the gifter statues. So there you go. I can't even say your name or know who you are. Go ahead and poop away. And look at those levels. 71. I was almost to 70 before going into that vault, and I got a full level. No, I got a full 2 levels out of that. I'll be at 100 in a blink of an eye, I think. I am a little sad about the Ring of Core data not working out real well in the water. That Dolphin's Grace is just too hard to control. But the Ring of Magnetization worked out really well. I brought my Omega Magnet with me, and I never even used it. I didn't feel much of a need, so that's a big win. And I've run a second vault. As you can see, now I am level 73. It seems to be about 2 levels per vault at this point. So yeah, it goes pretty quick. I think I've gotten enough practice now, though, and I think it's time to celebrate and try something completely different. A cake vault. Yeah, I've never run a cake vault. It's not that it's a big well-kept secret anymore, and, well, I just never really felt like I had a chance of doing it. I probably still won't complete it, but with the extra mobility, the extra speed, and whatnot, I think it's worth a chance to try it out anyway. Now, in between time, I've gone ahead and made a Ring of Far Reach to replace the Ring of Core data. Because, yeah, extra reach is always good. And it says it gives 3 levels of reach. At this point, that would be like spending 6 skill points to get to the same thing. So I think that makes a lot of sense. But while I am here, I think it's time to take water breathing and, more importantly, fire resistance. It seems like every other mob I run into is setting me on fire, and I gotta find a puddle to jump into or dump a bucket of water on the ground, and it's just getting to be really, really annoying, honestly. Since the core data isn't working, water breathing makes a lot of sense, and because everything has fire, I think fire resistance makes sense now too. So 1 cake crystal coming up. Oops. And yeah, I'm gonna soul flame this because I think my chances of actually completing it are pretty slim. And I think I'm all ready. As a reminder, the cake vault objective is to find the cake in each room, and that unlocks the next room in the line. I don't have any relic sets for extra time, so I think this is slim and none, but I think it's time I give it a shot. So let's go. Weekend Fast Horde Afterlife. Okay, I don't care about that. Remember, I'm focused on cakes. Let's get up top here and try to see if we can see it up top. It's most likely down below. If I were a cake, where would I be hiding? Definitely behind these chests. Definitely. Hey, there we go. I'm not seeing it anywhere. I am totally not even paying attention to the things saying how close I am. I'm not even looking for them. I keep forgetting to look for them. So where are they? I'm just randomly wandering all over the place. Oh, there it is. Which way did it go? Which way did it go, George? Which way did it go? It's a Dowski room. Where's the cake? Oh, there's the cake. I mean, these modifiers alone would be... I shouldn't be passing them up for cakes, honestly. So, but where are they? I need one. Perfect. I'm literally running around in circles, hoping to find a cake. Or see one of these things telling me where the cake is. Because I am just not seeing them. Oh my god, there it is. Was it there the entire time? And I ran past it, I don't know, God, how many times? 20 cakes to go. 13 minutes. Not looking good at all. Okay, come on. Surely it's got to be easy to find in this room. There it is. There are no notifications about how far away the cake is. I'm not seeing any of those notifications. At least it's quiet down here. There's the cake. There's the cake. That will be nice. Cake! There's the cake. I must have run right past it. But I do think at this point there is no way that I'm going to be able to finish this vault. I got 8 minutes left. A lot of modifiers. And a lot of vaults, or a lot of them to get. I'm looking for ores, not not cakes. Cake. Simple. Okay, so it reverted the difficult that was just added. 6 minutes and 14 cakes to go. Really? 14 cakes to go? But I think I'm just going to go back and loot. I don't think that there's a lot of value in trying to finish this out. I don't think it can be done. I don't think I can do it anyway. It's a baby army. It's an army of the little hellions. Goodness gracious. Bye-bye. I'm not going to worry about it. Well, I feel like I got pretty good loot. Didn't even come close to finishing it, though. Well, maybe I didn't quite do as well as I had thought I did. I know I saw a big gifter statue somewhere, but I don't seem to have it in my inventory. I'm not really sure what happened to it, but a good amount of vault gear, a bunch of statues and stuff, and one of the player gems, plus an echo. All in all, a pretty decent haul. The horde modifier was really nice as a random start. I just couldn't find the cakes, you know? That's always the complaint, isn't it? But my other complaint is I could not ever see the notices saying cake within 35 blocks or something. I don't recall ever seeing one of those. So I really don't know what the problem is. Oh, looky, it's an ancient debris gifter statue. That's like one of the rarest. Not that I actually need it, but it's cool that I got it. Well, that was a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. I had fun learning about Botania and some of the things that it had to offer. And well, I hope you did too. With that, I will say be excellent to each other. I'm out.